Let's begin by offering our respects to ISKCON founder Acharya and our preeminent Shiksha Guru, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai. Jai.
Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Itti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Vyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we welcome all of you to our weekly online Bhagavad Gita classes. We have with us here today Auntie Neeta, Divya, Pavani, Karuna, Ritu Lalwani, Shri Radhe Hari Devidasi, Manju, Disha Melwani. My parents are there, Dipti, Adnani, Ayush, Aja and Swapna. Okay. So in the previous class, what did we see? We have seen the progression, no? How Krishna walks us through karma yoga. He goes from sakama to nishkama, and then he explains the jnana yoga process, and then he explains bhakti yoga. So he says that there are two ways, no? The two ways are what? One progresses in that yoga ladder from karma to jnana to bhakti. But then there is also another quick way, which is directly take to bhakti yoga process. That is the rapid way. Now Krishna then concluded in the end that if you don't take either of the two paths, slow path or the rapid path, you will be lost. So we ended on that note on verse number 60, where Krishna says that if you don't take either, then you will be completely lost. Either which way, we must try to connect to Krishna. Of course, intelligence is that if you want to climb a 100-floor building, it's better to take the elevator than to take the staircase. So Bhakti Yoga is that elevator. It's that elevator that can very quickly take you to your final destination, back home, back to Godhead. If we take the slow path, yes, we can reach our destination, but it will take us a few million more lifetimes. But at least something we have to do. If we do nothing at all, then completely we will be lost. It's like no way at all, just in the cycle of birth, and the circle goes on and on and on. So that is the point. Now Krishna continues his discussion on Bhakti Yoga. Who can read today? Last class? For the last time?
I can read.
Okay, Aja. Thank you so much. So what Krishna has discussed when he explained these different yoga systems, because the word yog means to connect to the Lord, no? To connect to the Lord. So connection to the Lord is one realizing that one is not the body, one is spirit, soul. So if one is not the body, one is spirit, soul, then what is the spirit soul? The spirit soul is part and parcel of Krishna. The living entities are parts and parcels of Krishna. We are equal to Krishna in quality, in the sense that he is eternal, the soul is also eternal. He is full of knowledge, the soul also is full of knowledge. Krishna is also blissful, and the living entity is also eternally blissful. Satchit Ananda. So Krishna is Satchit Ananda, so is the living entity, so is the soul, Satchit Ananda. But there is a vast difference in the quantity. So we are Purushas, we are people, but Krishna is Purushottama. He is the topmost person. So we are equal to Krishna in quality, but there is a vast difference in quantity. So because we are parts and parcels of Krishna, we need to serve Krishna. Our constitutional position is that we are eternal servants of Krishna. So this knowledge that we are the spirit soul, that we are eternally parts and parcels, and therefore we have to serve him, we have to connect to him through some means or the other, whether it is karma yoga or jnana yoga or dhyana yoga or bhakti yoga. This knowledge is confidential knowledge. Now Krishna is going to explain more confidential knowledge. Of course, Krishna has already explained all this before, as we discussed. Chapter 18 is only a summary of all that Krishna has already spoken before. So now Krishna is going to again speak more confidential knowledge. So what is this more confidential knowledge? Is the knowledge of the super soul. So section 7 is more confidential knowledge, surrender to super soul. More confidential knowledge than the knowledge that one is spirit soul is knowledge that one should surrender to the super soul. So Krishna is going to now speak more confidential knowledge. Let us hear the verse.
ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां हृद्देशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया.
Translation, Aja, are you there?
I cannot see anything. Why?
You cannot see?
Am I in a different window?
Did I not share the screen? Oh, 1 second. Now can you see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Translation. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy.
So here, as we discussed, Krishna is talking about the super soul. So Krishna is saying that the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart. So Krishna is residing in the heart of every living entity, from the ants, from the tiniest of creatures, from the ants right up to Lord Brahma, even in the hearts of the Devatas. No. So Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna. And what is he doing in the heart of every living entity? He is directing the wanderings of all living entities. So just like how a GPS in our cars is directing us, no, you take this path, you take left, you take right, you go straight. So the GPS always tries to give us, or it should ideally give us the best way to reach our destination. If there is traffic, then the GPS tells us you don't take this route. This route has a lot of traffic. It will take you a longer time. You take the other route. No. So just what the GPS does in the car is what the super soul is doing in our hearts, directing the wanderings of all the living entities who are seated as on a machine. So Krishna is also giving us an analogy. He's saying that the super soul is seated in us, just as it is seated on a machine made of material energy. So this body is a machine. This body is made up of material energy. This body is material. The spirit soul is spiritual. So anything that is material is going to deteriorate. Anything that is material is going to come to an end. And that's what happens to our bodies at the time of death. So Krishna is saying that the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna. And what is he doing there? He is directing the wanderings of all the living entities who are seated as on a machine made of material energy. So this body is like a machine that is made of material energy. So here you can see how the super soul is situated in the hearts of every living entity, irrespective of whether one is in the mode of goodness or passion or ignorance. Doesn't matter. See, the living entity gets what he deserves and is carried by the material body, which is created in the material energy under the direction of the super soul. So depending on what we deserve, we are getting a particular body. And that body is created in the material energy. So this body is material and it is created under the direction of the super soul. As soon as a living entity is placed in a particular type of body, he has to work under the spell of that bodily situation. So if somebody is placed in the body of a hog, he has to behave like a hog. He has to be eating stool. If some living entity is in the body of a dog, then he is going to bark. So depending on what kind of body one has, he has to work under the spell of that bodily situation. A person situated in a high-speed motor car goes faster than one seated in a slower car, though the living entities, the drivers may be the same. So the same soul is present in the body of a hog and also in the body of a demigod, of a devata. But the body of a devata is like a high-speed motor car and the body of a hog is like a slower car. So the drivers is the same. The soul and the super soul is the same. No, the same super soul is present in the body of all the living entities. Not that one super soul is better than the other super soul. Similarly, by the order of the Supreme Soul, material nature fashions a particular type of body to a particular type of living entity so that he may work according to his past desires. So what determines what kind of body we get? What we desire and what we deserve. See, these two factors are there, what we deserve and what we desire. So if somebody has this desire, let's say somebody is into a profession and the person is posing on magazine covers or on television sets without being dressed appropriately, is posing completely without any clothes or something. So then that is the desire of that living entity. That is the desire of the living entity to expose oneself to full public view. So what happens in the next life? He will get a body by which that desire can be fulfilled. So Shastras explain that such people in the next lifetime, they get the body of trees. Because the trees are without any clothes on and they are in full public view and they are not conscious of the fact that they are without any clothing. So people who pose on magazine covers and are in full public view without being appropriately dressed, they are not conscious of that. Somebody else may be very conscious. Somebody else is not dressed properly, is not is not wearing clothes will not come out in public like that, because one is conscious, no, but a tree is not conscious of that position. So therefore such a person gets the body of a tree so that he can work according to his past desires. So this is the point. The living entity is not independent. One should not think himself independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The individual is always under the Lord's control. So irrespective of whether one is in the body of a dog, a hog, or ant, or in the body of a human being, or in the body of a demigod, he's always under the Lord's control. So it's the super soul who is directing. Okay, this is what is your, because the super soul is right there in your heart. We don't even have to speak. The super soul, the Paramatma, knows exactly what we are thinking. No, Krishna knows exactly what we are also thinking, what is our innermost desire. So we cannot cheat the Lord. Externally, we may say, oh, we are great devotees, we do our sadhana, we are doing our rounds, we are doing this. But Krishna knows what are our intentions, what is our innermost desire. Krishna knows very well. So we cannot cheat the Lord. So according to what we desire and what we deserve, the next body is arranged for us. So we are getting the body under the supervision, under the direction of the super soul. So the car is compared to the body of the living entity, and the passenger of the car is the living entity. The driver of the car is, who can say? Who is driving the car?
Super soul.
The super soul, yes, the super soul. So high-speed cars are the best material bodies. So what are the best material bodies? What kind of bodies have the best facilities? Body of a animal, aquatic.
Oh, human body. So this.
Human? Is there any body better than a human body? More facilities to enjoy?
Yeah, Sadhu's body, Mahatma's
Brahman
body,
body.
Spiritual Master,
The
Brahman,
body of the demigods,
Mahatma.
the body of the demigods and sages up to Lord Brahma, they are the best material bodies. There are more facilities in the body of a Devata. They have more potency, more powers, even sages, no, up to Lord Brahma. Average speed, not very fast, not very slow.
Maybe human body.
Yes, now human beings. And slow cars, less facilities.
Animals.
Yes, anyone lower than human beings, animals, aquatics, birds, reptiles, all those are slower cars. So see, our plans, very nice article by His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. He writes, our plans are not Krishna's plan, but Krishna's plan accommodates our mistakes. So some people say everything is God's plan. Is it really? Are our mistakes His plan? If some people become alcoholics or commit suicide, did God plan that they ruin their life? So people say sometimes, no, whatever I'm doing, God is making me do it because He is a supreme controller. So is God responsible if somebody is committing suicide? Is Krishna responsible if somebody is alcoholic or a drug addict or engaging in some sinful activities? So what do we learn from Bhagavad Gita? Gita wisdom explains that Krishna has a plan for our ultimate well-being. He wants us to realize our spiritual identity and destiny, thereby relishing eternal love for him. For this plan to work, we need to play our part. No? So what Krishna wants our ultimate well-being. He wants us back home, back to Godhead more than we want it. So that is Krishna's plan for us. But we have to do our part. We have to do our duty. So how can we do that? By learning to love him and to live harmoniously with his will. So we have to live according to Krishna's will. If we act otherwise, if we commit activities that are against Shastra, against Krishna's instruction, if we act otherwise, giving in to our mind's short-sighted impulses, those actions are our mistakes. Krishna didn't want us to make those mistakes. So sometimes because we are weak-minded, we are not so determined, we give in to the mind's demands. Because see, mind will always tell us to do that which is not right. No, an uncontrolled mind. So the mind is always going to tell us, let me not study now, let me study later. No, let me not get up now. I'll just switch off my alarm and I'll go back to sleep. I'll get up after some time. I have some more time. So the mind is always going to tempt us away from Krishna. But that is not what Krishna wants us to do. So we should distinguish between what Krishna wants and what is our mistake. So those actions are our mistakes. Krishna didn't want us to make those mistakes. Nonetheless, Krishna's plan is so resilient that it isn't foiled by our lapses. It accommodates those wrong choices. So Krishna, although we are making mistakes, Krishna's plan is so strong that it is re-accommodating. No, it accommodates our mistakes in his plan. So let's see this with an example. To illustrate, consider the example of driving to a destination along an unfamiliar route, being guided by Google Maps. Sometimes the map app tells us to turn right, but we turn left. The app does not quit. It immediately recalibrates and shows us a modified route. Similarly, if we make a mistake, Krishna does not abandon us. He still stays in our heart and keeps guiding us to come back on track. The Bhagavad Gita states that he always accompanies us during our worldly wanderings. So, the moment we left the spiritual world, Krishna is guiding us as the super soul, as a Paramatma, irrespective of whether we are in the worm in stool. No, irrespective of irrespective of whether we are in this most abominable body, up to Lord Brahma. No, Krishna never abandons us. He never abandons us. He's accompanying us life after life after life through all these millions and millions of bodies, and he's guiding us as the Paramatma. He's guiding us as the super soul so that we can go back home, back to God. Just as how the GPS will never say, why did you take this right turn, you fool? I told you to take left. No, the GPS is never going to tell us that. The GPS reaccommodates and then, okay, makes another route for us and now tells, okay, now after taking this turn, now what is your best way to reach to your destination? So that is what Krishna is doing as the super soul in the hearts of every living entity. Of course, mistakes aren't inconsequential. We have to bear the consequences of our mistakes, and that is karma. So while driving, if we take a wrong turn, we prolong our drive. Similarly, if we make wrong choices, we delay our spiritual growth and may even have to incur karmic consequences. But still, we will never be deprived of Krishna's unfailing love and untiring guidance. So Krishna is a very loving God. He is always there to guide us. So when we make mistakes, that is not what Krishna wants us to do. No, that's not what he wants us to do. Let's go to 62.
तमेव शरणं गच्छ सर्वभावेन भारत तत्प्रसादात् परां शान्तिं स्थानं प्राप्स्यसि शाश्वतम्.
Translation. Correct me if I am wrong. O Sian of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode.
So surrender unto him utterly. So surrender unto whom utterly, Krishna is saying? To whom we have to surrender?
To Krishna. Lord.
Yes, here surrender unto. See, previously Krishna said that the Lord is situated. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart. So now he is continuing from that verse and saying surrender unto him, which means surrender unto the super soul. And surrender unto super soul is, who is the super soul? Super soul is none other than Krishna. So Krishna is saying surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme eternal abode. So Shantim, Krishna says Shantim, you will attain peace. And also you will attain that sthanam, that place which is Shashwatam. Shashwatam means eternal, eternal. So the spiritual world is the eternal abode which is never destroyed. All the material planets are destroyed when there is destruction. Anything that is material will be destroyed in the course of time. The spiritual world always remains. Now, Vaikuntha, Goloka, that place is never destroyed. So Krishna is saying by surrendering unto him, the super soul, which is none other than Krishna, then we can invoke the grace of Krishna and then we can attain our destination. So here, again, Krishna's first expansion in the material world is Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is breathing and creating universes. So when every time he breathes out from every pore of his skin, universes are generated. So now these universes are golden egg-shaped universes. That's why they are called Brahmand. Brahma because Lord Brahma is the first created being in the universe, and Anda means egg. So because these are egg-shaped universes and Brahma is the first created living entity in that universe, therefore these universes are called Brahmans. Now there are these Brahmans are of different sizes. Depending on the size of the universe, we have the number of heads that Lord Brahma of that particular universe has. Now our universe is very, very small. Therefore, our universe has a Brahma with only 4 heads. But there are Brahmas with 100 heads, 1,000 heads, millions heads, and several million heads also. That is described in the Bhagavatam. When we do Krishna book, we will see one Leela regarding this. So yeah, then within this universe, within each universe, then there is a Garbhodakashayi Vishnu who enters into each universe. No, so every universe has its Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and here you have Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Then Garbhodakashayi Vishnu expands as Shirodakashayi Vishnu or the super soul, and he enters into the heart of every living entity. So there are 3 Vishnus: Karanodakashayi Vishnu or Mahavishnu, then Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and Shirodakashayi Vishnu or the super soul. 63.
इति ते ज्ञानमाख्यातम् गुह्याद् गुह्यतरम् मया विमृश्यैतद्दशेषेण यथेच्छसि तथा कुरु.
Translation. Thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do.
So Krishna is saying, I have thus explained to you knowledge still more confidential. So what is the more confidential knowledge that Krishna has said that he has explained? Knowledge of the
What we are.
Super soul.
knowledge of the super soul. Yes, very nice. Knowledge of the super soul. So Krishna says, I have explained, thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. So what has Krishna just explained? He has explained knowledge of the super soul. So knowledge of the soul is confidential knowledge. Knowledge of the super soul is more confidential knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita. Then what Krishna says, deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do. Yathe chasi tatha kuru. No, yathe chasi tatha kuru means as you like, so you can do. So Krishna does not force us to conduct our life according to his instructions. That's what Krishna wants, but he does not force it upon us because he gives us minute independence, because our relationship with God is based on love. As we said, Krishna is a loving God. So our relationship with God is based on love. There is no force. There is no force. Krishna is not keeping a gun on our head and saying, hey, you have to surrender unto me. No, because that's not love. Then that will be very mechanical. It will be very robotic. No, and we are not robots. So we are people with emotions. Krishna has emotions. We have emotions. So it's based on love. So Krishna is saying, now you deliberate on this and do what you wish to do. Yathechasi tatha kuru. So we can do what we like to do. Krishna is not going to force us, but yes, we have to take the karmic reaction for our actions. So the Lord has already explained to Arjuna the knowledge of Brahma Bhuta. One who is in the Brahma Bhuta condition is joyful. He never laments, nor does he desire anything. This is, one second, this is due to confidential knowledge. Krishna also discloses knowledge of the super soul. This is also Brahman knowledge, the knowledge of Brahman, but it is superior. So Brahman simply means spirit soul. See, there in this word Brahman comes many times in the Bhagavad Gita. We should not be confused. We should know what that word means where. So one meaning of Brahman is spirit soul. Brahma Bhuta stage means one has transcended the material bodily concept of life. One is no longer acting on the material platform, but acts spiritually. So we saw this term in the previous class, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. Prasanatma means one is happy because one is no longer in the material concept of life. So when one is not in the material concept of life, then when one is Prasanatma, one is happy because one is now spiritually situated. So let's read this again. Brahma Bhuta stage means one has transcended the material bodily concept of life. One is no longer acting on the material platform but acts spiritually. One is liberated either as an impersonalist or as a personalist. An impersonalist merges into the Brahman effulgence, but Brahma Bhuta stage is achieved by devotee by execution of devotional service. So an impersonalist, he merges into the Brahman effulgence, but at some point he gets bored, no? So he's very peaceful, but real happiness can be got only when one executes devotional service. When one engages in bhakti yoga, then one can be happy. So confidential knowledge is knowledge of the soul, and more confidential knowledge is knowledge of the super soul. Now let's see. Krishna is going to talk about the most confidential knowledge in the next section. Let's hear the verse.
सर्वगुह्यतमं भूयः शृणु मे परमं वचः इष्टोऽसि मे दृढमिति ततो वक्ष्यामि ते हितम्.
Translation. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit.
Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction. So most confidential knowledge. Krishna says that he is going to speak. No, so I'm speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. See, Krishna is using very strong superlatives, no, very nice and high-class superlatives. He's saying Sarva Guhyatamam, the most confidential knowledge. And then he says Paramam Vachaha, my supreme instruction. So Krishna is using this superlative, Sarva Guhyatamam, Paramam Vachaha. And then he says, then he goes on to explain why he is speaking this Sarva Guhyatamam, why he is speaking Paramam Vachaha, why he is speaking this to Krishna, because Krishna says, because it is Ishto sime dridam iti, which means you are very dear to me. Dridam means very, and Ishto, because you are very dear to me. So Krishna is saying, I'm going to speak this because you are very dear to me. And another superlative here Krishna is using is te hitam. Te hitam means this is for your benefit. So he's using these four very, very powerful and very first-class superlatives, which shows the heart of Krishna. It shows the heart of Krishna. He's speaking this most confident knowledge only because he wants the benefit of Arjuna, because Arjuna is very, very dear to him. Now here Arjuna is representing the devotees of Krishna. So it's not only for Arjuna, but it is for all the devotees of Krishna. So this verse gives an insight into Krishna's heart. So this section is very, very conclusive. Only place where two superlatives, big expression of praise, are combined along with two declarations of affection. So two declarations of affection and two superlatives. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has mentioned the following in his commentary on text 63 and 64. Thus the 6 chapters teaching Jnana have reached their completion. These 6 chapters of the Shastra, Sri Gita, are jewels of spiritual education. So as we discussed, the last 6 chapters are the Jnana section of the Bhagavad Gita. So with this section has come to an end. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that they form part of a treasure chest containing the rarest secret of bhakti. The first 6 chapters dealing with karma form the golden lower part of the chest. The third 6 chapters dealing with jnana form the gem-studded cover. And the bhakti found within is the most precious treasure in the 3 worlds. It has the power to bring Sri Krishna under control. It shines brightly brilliantly as the most excellent of precious jewels. The key to obtaining this jewel is the pair of verses on the cover of the treasure chest, the sacred 64 syllables beginning Man Mana Bhava Mat Bhakto. So this verse we will see here. So Krishna here, see in the previous thing, he said that now I'm going to speak to the my supreme instruction. So that supreme instruction is coming up now in verse number 65. And then what does Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mention is how the middle 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita are the middle part of a treasure. The last 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita are the top part of the treasure. And the first 6 chapters are the bottom. So when you have something very precious, then you place it very nicely. So like say you have a nice precious diamond ring, you will place it between soft cloth or a nice jewelry box which is covered from top and bottom. So like that, the middle section, the bhakti section, by which we can bring Krishna under control, is the middle section of that treasure. The last 6 are the upper portion, and the last 6 are the lower portion of that treasure. So let us see now this verse, Man Mana Bhava Mad Bhakto, which Krishna says is the most confidential knowledge.
Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me.
Aja, you're on mute.
Okay. Translation. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend.
So what is Krishna's most confidential instruction? Man Mana Bhava Mad Bhakto Mat Yaji Mam Namaskuru. So he's saying Man Mana Bhava Mad Bhakto. Always think of me. Man Mana, in your mind. No, always you should think of me. Mad Bhakta, become my devotee. Become my devotee. Worship me. Mad Yaji Mam Namaskuru. Come, you worship me and you offer your homages unto me. So this is what we need to do in order to very quickly go back to Godhead. This is the most confidential instruction. Then Krishna is saying, so what is the result of doing these 4 things? If we are always thinking of Krishna, we become devotees of Krishna, we worship Krishna, we offer our homage, our obeisances, our namaskuru to Krishna. If we do these 4 things, then what do we get in return? Why should we do this? Krishna says, thus you will come to me without fail. You will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend, Krishna says. Krishna used the word Priya, no? Priya. So because Arjuna is very dear to Krishna, because the devotees of the Lord are very dear to Krishna. Krishna is promising that you do these things, then definitely you will come to me without fail. See, this verse, Man Mana Bhava Mat Bhakto, Krishna has also spoken in the 9th chapter. The last verse of the 9th chapter, 9.34, he said, Man Mana Bhava Mat Bhakto, Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. So see these 2 lines, same 2 lines he repeated again at the end of 18th chapter. So this was a very crucial junction, 9.34. Why is 9.34 a very crucial junction in the Bhagavad Gita? Who can say? What is the title of chapter 9? You can check your Bhagavad Gitas and tell me.
The most confidential knowledge.
Yes, the most confidential knowledge. So chapter 9 is titled Most Confidential Knowledge, and 9.34 is the verse that is dividing the Bhagavad Gita into 2 sections. No, it's right in the middle, because 18 chapters, and this is the last verse. So this is a very, very crucial place, 9.34, and there Krishna gives this instruction, Man Mana Bhava Mad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. So, and the same thing is repeated here in 18.65. But there is a difference between the 2. Slight difference is there. See the translation of 9.34, engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances unto me. and worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. And in 18.65, what Krishna says, always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So the first two lines are the same. The last two lines, there is a slight difference. So if you see, in the first two lines, the emphasis is on our obligations, what we should do. But in this 18.65, the emphasis is on Krishna's love and Krishna's promise. So Krishna is saying here, no, he's promising you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So we can see Krishna's love and Krishna's promise is being emphasized here in 18.65. Now, what's the link between 18.65 and 18.66? One may doubt that he is able to take advantage of Krishna's words and render the quality of pure devotional service that Krishna has requested. Should he first undergo renunciation, austerities, and vows to purify his heart so that he will enhance his ability to surrender? No, so one may think, okay, now how will I do this? How will I do? How will I always think of Krishna? How can I become a devotee of Krishna? How can I worship and offer homages to Krishna? How can I do that? So for that, do I have to undergo some kind of renunciation, austerities, something I have to do to purify my heart so that I am able to surrender to Krishna? No, one may be thinking like that. So Krishna answers that in the next verse. And also another thing I forgot to mention here is, see here in 64, Krishna says, I'm sorry, here in 63, Krishna told Arjuna, deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do. No, I have already explained to you knowledge, still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do. But immediately then Krishna is telling Arjuna that I will reveal the most confidential knowledge to you. And then he's telling him what he should do. No, then he tells him, Man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru. So the point here, the acharyas explain is that here he is telling Arjuna to deliberate on this. And Arjuna starts to think, no, he's thinking and he's deliberating on this and what he should do. And seeing Arjuna in that position, Krishna's heart melts. Krishna's heart melts. And therefore, then immediately he's telling him, because Krishna does not like to see his devotees like that. So then Krishna immediately tells Arjuna, all right, I will now reveal to you the most confidential knowledge. And then he goes on to tell him what he should do. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. So just like how parents sometimes, when we deal with children, no, we want to give our children some independence to choose their careers or what they want to study and do what they like to do. Probably some are more inclined towards sports, some are more inclined towards studies, or some whatever other activity it may be. So we as parents, we may let our children choose what they want to do depending on what they like, no, but still the parents have to give them guidance, give them some push, because how will the children discover what they are good at? So for that, as parents, we need to push them a little bit, guide them a little bit, and encourage them and try to explore things to eventually find out what is it that they like. Because if the parents don't push their children into anything, then how will the children discover what is it that they like to do? So this is what Krishna is doing as a loving parent. He's allowing Arjuna, you do as you like to do. No, but at the same time, he's pushing him and telling him, look, this is what is the ideal. This is the best path. So then it will help Arjuna take his decision. So now we come to the crest jewel of all the verses in the Bhagavad Gita.
Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha.
Translation: Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear.
So this is the crown jewel of all the verses of the Bhagavad Gita. This is the crest jewel, no, this verse. Continuing with the most confidential knowledge, Krishna previously said, no, man mana bhava bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. And then continuing that most confidential knowledge, Krishna is saying here, abandon all varieties of religion. Sarva dharmam parityaja. Abandon all varieties of religion. So Krishna has spoken so much in the Bhagavad Gita. No, he has explained in so much detail all these different yoga processes. He has explained karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga. He has explained all these yoga processes. So now Krishna is saying, forget. Just forget it. No, let it be. Abandon everything. Abandon all varieties of religion. Just do one thing. Just surrender unto me, Krishna is saying. Don't have to worry about anything else. Just surrender to Krishna. You don't need anyone else. You don't need anything else other than Krishna. Because if you please the king in the kingdom, then you don't have to worry about the other ministers, or you don't have to worry about anything else in the kingdom, because you have pleased the king. So because Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, you don't need anybody else, because Krishna is God. So Krishna is saying, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. There is no need to be confused with all these different concepts that are existing. We know very well, around us. There are so many paths, so many ways, so many paths to take us to the destination. But the point is, there are many paths. Now, people say, whatever path it is, at the end of it, it's all the same. There are many paths to reach the same goal. Yes, there are many paths, but some paths are the longer route. Some paths are the shorter route, and some paths are your straight or your shortcuts. So to reach your destination, your shortcut, your best way to take you there at the end of this lifetime is to simply surrender to Krishna. We go via this, via that, this, that, we get confused. Finally, we may get misled if we are with bogus people, no. And otherwise, even if they are not bogus, and they will lead us, no, from one concept to the other until we can reach the level of pure devotion service. But it is going to take us more lifetimes. It is going to take us more lifetimes. Several more lifetimes, several million quadrillion lifetimes more. So if you want to climb the floor of 100, you want to climb the topmost floor of a 100-floor building. Yes, there are many ways. You can go walking, you can take the staircase, but the best way is to take the express elevator to the top floor. So that is what Krishna is saying here. Just abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. You don't need anyone else, because Krishna is God. Krishna says, I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear, Krishna is saying, do not fear. So do not be afraid. There is nothing to be afraid of. There is nothing to have any doubt about that. So sarva dharmam parityaja, abandon all varieties of religion. Mam ekam sharanam vraja, just surrender unto me. Mam ekam, only just we need to surrender to Krishna. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo, I will deliver you from all sinful sarva papebhyo, all the sinful actions and reactions that are due in our spiritual bank balance. Everything will be forgiven, everything will be forgotten. The slate will be completely wiped clean. No, so Krishna is saying, Aham Tvam Sarva Papevyo, because Krishna can overwrite the rules of the game for his devotee. Then we are no longer under the law of karma. Once we surrender to Krishna, then we are no longer under the law of karma also. Everything is forgiven, everything is forgotten. Then Moksha Shyami, Masocha. Moksha Shyami, he will deliver us, no? He will liberate us. Masochaha, there is no need to worry. Do not worry, Krishna is saying. We don't have to worry about anything else. So this is the very, very famous verse. And as I said, the best jewel amongst all these jewels in the Bhagavad Gita. So let us see some points from the purport. What Krishna means by saying, this is not saying by, it's saying, there's a typing error here. So what Krishna means by saying, abandon all varieties of religion. The Lord has described various kinds of knowledge and processes of religion. Now he recommends to give all that and simply surrender. Now, how will surrender save us? The Lord personally promises to protect from all kinds of sinful reaction. No kind of strenuous effort to free oneself from sinful reaction. Just the process of surrender will automatically free one from all reactions. So, Sharanagati, when we come to the level of Sharanagati, then everything else is forgotten, because otherwise, how will we wipe wipe clean our karmic reactions. That's not possible. See, I may have started this lifetime. Let's say, for example, if I may have started this lifetime with a karmic bank balance of 500, whether good or bad does not matter, because I have to pay for the good. Also, I have to enjoy. That means I have to still remain in this material world to enjoy, and bad also I have to pay for my bad reactions. No, so it doesn't matter whether the reactions are good or bad. So let's say I'm starting this lifetime with a karmic bank balance of 500. Now, in this lifetime, I try to pay up that karmic bank balance of 500, let's say by doing some good deeds, or I'm increasing my bad deeds. But in the process of paying off, no, I mean, I may pay off the old bad deeds by suffering in this lifetime, and I pay off the old good deeds by enjoying in this lifetime. But again, in this lifetime, I have performed some 5 lakh more deeds in this lifetime. So how am I? And then again, it continues in the next lifetime, and the next lifetime, and the next lifetime. So how are we going to get rid of all that? It's not possible. The only way is Sharanagati, by completely surrender to Krishna, because only then that state can be wiped clean. See, in Chaitanya Leela, there is this pastime of Jagai and Madai, two drunkards. We have discussed this in our Gita classes. So this Jagai and Madai, they were so sinful. It is described that if there was a sin book with a list of all the sinful activities that one can perform, there was not a single sin that this Jagai and Madai had not conducted. No. And Lord Nityananda, because he's Guru Tattva, he wanted to preach to Jagai and Madai. And he was thinking that if I can make Jagai and Madai devotees, then the fame of Lord Chaitanya will be spread even more. But what happened is Jagai and Madai, they were so drunk and they were so sinful. They were so, they were such, um, I'm not getting the right word for it. But anyway, when Lord Nityananda tried to preach to them, what Madai did was he struck Lord Nityananda with a broken earthen pot. No? He struck him with a broken earthen pot. And Lord Nityananda started to bleed. When Lord Nityananda started to bleed, Lord Chaitanya immediately arrived there on the scene and he invoked his Sudarshan Chakra. So because remember, Lord Chaitanya is none other than Krishna himself. He's the combined form of Krishna and Srimati Radharani. And he is the most merciful incarnation. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is more merciful than Krishna. And it is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who gave us this Mahamantra also, out of his causeless mercy. So when Lord Chaitanya appeared and he saw Lord Nityananda bleeding, he immediately invoked his Sudarshan Chakra. So even the most merciful incarnation was ready to kill with that Sudarshan Chakra because he saw his dearmost devotee Lord Nityananda bleeding. So for the Lord, the only thing matters is to protect his devotees. Nothing else matters. So although actually Lord Chaitanya was not meant to use any weapons, because he saw Lord Nityananda bleeding, he invoked Sudarshan Chakra. But what Lord Nityananda did, Lord Nityananda held on to the feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he said that please forgive them, please forgive them. No. And then Jagai and Madai realized and they surrendered to Lord Chaitanya and they asked for forgiveness. So whatever sins, it is described in the Chaitanya Bhagawad that whatever sins that this Jagai and Madai had done, they were so sinful that even Chitragupta, the assistant of Yamaraj, who keeps a record of the sinful activities of all the living entities, he was getting tired of making a note of those sinful activities. And then everything was wiped off. Now, all those sins that Jagai and Madai had done, all that nonsense that they had done, everything was dumped. Just like that, in one moment when they surrendered to Lord Chaitanya. So it is described that when Lord Yamaraj saw the extent of mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he fainted. Lord Yamaraj actually fainted when he saw the extent of mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he said, so much sin, this long list, never-ending list, everything gone just like that in one moment because of this causeless mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is what Krishna is saying here, that he will protect us. He says, just give up everything. Don't worry about anything else. Mam ekam sharanam braja. You just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. So all that karmic balance, everything goes just like that by surrendering to Krishna. So what is the process of surrender? Hari Bhakti Vilas explains 6 points. What are the 6 points? Simply accept such religious principles that are favorable to devotional service. Avoid anything unfavorable to devotional service. So if there is anything that is coming in the way of your devotional service, abandon it. Anything that is favorable for your Krishna consciousness, that you accept. Confidence of Krishna's protection in all circumstances, whatever the circumstances may be, even though externally it may seem that it is not pleasant, we should have complete confidence that Krishna will protect us. This is the kind of confidence that Prahlad had, irrespective of whether he was being thrown from the cliff or he was being drowned in the water. Or he was being trampled under elephants, or he was sent to the spit of snakes. It did not matter. Prahlad's confidence was never shaken. He was confident that Krishna will protect him under all circumstances. Then no need of thinking how to keep body and soul together. Krishna will see to that. So we think that we have to work hard because we have to keep body and soul together. So, but then who is maintaining these elephants who eat tons and tons and tons of food in the forest? Are they slogging it out and working hard like us? No, no. So Krishna provides that which is required to keep body and soul together. There is this pastime of Brigari the hunter. So Mrigari used to half kill the animals. He used to half kill the animals. And once Narada Muni was passing by and he had a conversation with Mrigari, and he said, "Why are you killing?" So he said that I have to maintain my family. And then he says, "Okay, but why are you half killing the animals?" He says, "Because when I see them suffer, then I feel pleasure." No. And then Narada Muni said, "Okay, you go and speak to your family and see if they are willing to partake your karmic reactions, because you say you are killing because you have to maintain your family. But go and inquire from your family if they will take the karmic reaction of what you are doing." So then the family says, "No, no, how can we take the karma for this?" So the family completely refuses. And then Rigari realizes his mistake. And then Narada Muni tells him that you give up hunting, you take to devotional service, food will come to you. So Mrigari does, no. So of course Narada Muni then became his guru, his spiritual master, and he follows the instructions of Narada Muni, and he gave up his sinful life, and then he became a Vaishnava. And people were bringing him food. People were bringing him more food than he and his family required at that time. No, so Krishna will provide that which is required to keep body and soul together. Of course, if we are greedy, we want more and more and more, and we want luxury cars and luxury apartments, then Krishna is not going to provide for our greeds, but he does definitely provide for our needs. Always think oneself helpless. So we have to be utterly dependent on Krishna. That should be our mood. Oh, my dear Lord Krishna, I'm useless. No, I'm utterly dependent on you. Please give me your mercy. Consider Krishna as the only basis for one's progress in life. So this is the only basis by which we can progress in our life. We do our best and we pray to Krishna, "Please forgive my offenses. Please help me overcome my obstacles." So Krishna is the only basis for one's progress in life. We cannot progress in our spiritual life without Krishna's mercy. So how to surrender? These are the 6 points from the Hari Bhakti Vilasa. Then, no need of other purificatory and religious processes. Srila Prabhupada thus explains uselessness of worry and hesitation. Importance of the word ma suchaha indicates do not fear or hesitate. One may be perplexed as to how one can give up all kinds of religious forms and simply surrender unto Krishna. But such worry is useless. So sometimes there may be something that is being carried out in the family since many, many years. Oh, if I give up this, then I will incur the curse of our family priest. Or if I give up worshipping this particular devata, then that devata will be displeased. No, because even the devatas are devotees of Krishna, and they also want us to surrender to Krishna. So there is a story of this devotee of Lord Shiva. He prayed to Lord Shiva, "Give me the best thing that exists." So Lord Shiva said, okay, you go to Sanatan Goswami. From there, you will get the best thing. So Sanatan Goswami is a stalwart Vaishnava. And Lord Shiva wanted his devotee also to become a devotee of Krishna because he himself is a devotee. Lord Shiva is Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. No, Bhagavatam says Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, which means Lord Shambhu is Vaishnavanam Yatha, which means he is the topmost Vaishnava. So a Vaishnava will always want you to surrender to Krishna and go back home, back to Godhead. So Lord Shiva directed his devotee, go to Sanatan Goswami. And then from Sanatan Goswami, eventually he got the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So even the devatas, even the devotees, they want that you surrender to Krishna. So one should not think that I will incur the wrath of a devata or the devata will be displeased if I do not surrender to Krishna. It's not like that. There is no need to worry. Such worry is useless. Okay, now what's the link between section 8 and section 9? Krishna has just completed speaking the Bhagavad Gita. So he has completed his instructions. No. Now, what should we do with these jewels of transcendental knowledge that Krishna has just spoken? So, what has to be done with all this knowledge that Krishna has spoken? Should they be kept secret or should they be distributed widely? If they should be distributed, who is qualified to receive them? What result comes to one who hears, studies, or preaches Krishna's message? So, this is what we are going to see in the next section. So, as in I mean, if you have to consider Krishna's instructions, Krishna's teachings, now already Krishna has ended his instructions in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, but now what to do with these instructions? Krishna is going to say next section. Let's hear.
Idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktāya kadāchana na ca shushrushave vāchyam na ca mam yobhyasuyati.
Translation. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, not to one who is envious of me.
So Krishna is saying this knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita should never be explained to which category of people? Those who are not austere, those who are not simple, those who are not sober. No. So do not explain this to those who are not austere or devoted, those who are not devotees or engaged in devotional service, those who are not engaging in any kind of devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me, not to somebody who is envious of Krishna. So Krishna is saying, do not give this knowledge to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. So are we following this instruction?
Yes.
How? Did we have some kind of a filter when we started these classes? And did we check? Are you austere? Are you devoted? Are you engaged in seva? Are you envious? Did we have some kind of filter before we started these Gita classes? Did we check?
You were
Or
asking.
it was open to everyone?
You were asking for telling us 4 points, right? You had to follow this. No drinking. Is that what you?
No. When we started the Gita classes, so we are revealing this knowledge, right? Did we verify if everybody in the Zoom session, everybody who was registered for the course, if they are following these? Did we have any kind of a filter?
No.
No, we had no kind of a filter, right? In the temple, there are Bhagavad Gita classes in the temple. At the entrance of the temple, do we have any kind of filter saying, okay, do you check? Are you austere? Are you devoted? Are you doing devotional service? Are you not envious of Krishna? And then we allow the people to enter the temple and and hear the Gita class?
No.
Do we have any kind of filter like that in the temples?
No.
No, we don't have it. Why?
No. Anybody and
Why?
everybody can join the.
Yeah, so we are not following this instruction of Bhagavad Gita, of Krishna, then. Because Krishna is saying, do not explain this to these categories of people.
Or
But still we are doing it. Why?
people who come there they have a good intention. That's why they are there, right?
There are some people who come to a temple with bad intentions also. There are people who even steal inside the temples.
But they will change after hearing. They will change after hearing the.
They will change after, but Krishna is saying, don't speak to these people. So after hearing only they will change. Now, but Krishna is already saying that don't give only this knowledge to people who are not austere, not devoted.
It's true. We should not give if they are not interested.
Okay, but still we are giving.
Only interested people will come join this, right? Maybe meant for not to preach in other religion, go to other religion group and go and talk about this.
See, in the temple, there are also people who come.
Mhm. Oh.
Okay, if you have a business, everybody who comes into the shop is your customer who's going to purchase from you. No, there are sometimes your competitors who are coming to your shop to see what you are selling at what price. Is it not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there can be people coming from other parts who are only coming to check out what is going on and then
Mhm.
do something that's not right. Or there are people who even steal and rob inside the temple premises. There are things that get stolen from inside the temple premises, is it not?
Yeah.
So then, not everybody who comes to a temple is.
So how we follow this?
So how do we understand this? How do we understand this? So the point here is, the acharyas explain that the devotee of the Lord is more merciful than the Lord. Devotee of the Lord is more merciful than the Lord himself.
Mhm.
So therefore, as devotees, we try to give this knowledge so that that person can have a transformation of the heart. Even though Krishna says, do not preach to them, because a devotee is more merciful than Krishna.
So
The case of Jagai and Madai that we just mentioned, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to kill Jagai and Madai. He invoked his Sudarshan Chakra and he was about to kill Madai because Madai was the one who struck Lord Nityananda. So he was about to kill Madai. He was ready to kill. But Lord Nityananda said, no, do not kill. So who is more merciful here? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Lord Nityananda? Who's
Nityananda.
more merciful?
Nityananda.
Lord
Lord
Nityananda.
Nityananda is more merciful. So the devotee of the Lord is more merciful than the Lord.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. So now let's see what Krishna says. 1968. I'm sorry, 1868. There's no 19.
य इदं परमं गुह्यं मद्भक्तेष्वभिधास्यति भक्तिं मयि परां कृत्वा मामे वैष्यत्य संशयः.
For a translation, for one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me.
So one who explains this supreme secret, so one who explains this Bhagavad Gita to the devotees, what do they get? Pure devotional service is guaranteed. So this is the blessing or benefit for anyone who teaches this Bhagavad Gita to the others. So the teacher of the Bhagavad Gita is getting this blessing from Krishna. What does this person get? For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. He will come back to me. So this is the benefit of anyone who is teaching this knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. So who can teach the Bhagavad Gita? Is there any qualification?
The success.
Man, woman, Indian, American, rich, poor,
No,
child,
anyone
adult.
can
Anybody
teach.
can.
Anyone
Recite
can
the
teach.
certificate.
The only qualification is you have to
Recite the
simply
certificate.
repeat what is spoken by Guru and Krishna. That's the only thing that you have to do. Only repeat what is taught by Krishna, what is taught by Srila Prabhupada, what is taught by the bona fide authorized spiritual master. We don't have to add or subtract anything. Our job is like a postmaster. What does a postmaster do? He simply delivers the letter from the one who has sent it to the one who has to receive it. He is the link between the sender and the receiver. So all of us can teach the Bhagavad Gita, but without altering the message. The postmaster is not allowed to open the envelope and make any changes in the letter, because then he's failing in his duty, is it not? So like the postmaster, we have to simply deliver the message from the sender, from Krishna, from Guru to the others. So anybody can become a teacher, but we should be very, very careful that we only repeat what Krishna has said. No extra circus, no extra effort, nothing fancy out of this is required. Simply repeat the knowledge as it is. That's all. So there is a proverb in English: the hand that gives flowers is always fragrant. No, because if you're always giving out flowers, your own hand will also be fragrant. So one who teaches, if you give away this fragrant flower, this of the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, then your own hand also will always be fragrant. So let's see what Krishna says next.
न च तस्मान् मनुष्येषु कश्चिन्मे प्रियकृत्तमः भविता न च मे तस्मात् अन्यः प्रियतरो भुवि.
Translation: There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear.
So who is the most dear servant to Krishna? One who?
Devotee.
Devotee. One who more
One
dear.
who surrenders to him.
This is a continuation from the previous verse. What did he say in the previous verse?
One who surrenders to Krishna.
No. Let's go
One
back
who
to.
explains the supreme secret to the devotee.
In 68, he says one who explains the supreme secret to the devotee. So he's talking about someone who's teaching the Bhagavad Gita to the others. So he's saying that one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, for him, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me. And then he goes on to continue, from the previous verse, he says, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So one who teaches the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that servant is the most dear to me. He says there is no one more dear to me than that person who can teach this knowledge to the others, nor will there ever be one in the future who is going to be more dear to me than that person. So there are two shlokas Krishna dedicating here to those who are teaching this Bhagavad Gita to others. This person who teaches Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, is the most dear servant to me. So only the teachers get benefited, not the students. Students also get benefited. Krishna gives 2 shlokas. He dedicates 2 shlokas to the students of the Bhagavad Gita also. So let us see what Krishna says next.
अध्येष्यते च य इमम् धर्म्यम् संवादमावयोः ज्ञानयज्ञेन तेनाहम् इष्टस्यामिति मे मतिः.
Translation: And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence.
So here is the benediction, the blessing for the students of the Bhagavad Gita. One who studies the sacred conversation of ours, Krishna is saying, he worships me by his intelligence. So just by studying this, Krishna is not saying understanding the Bhagavad Gita. He is saying just by studying, just by studying. He who studies the sacred conversation of ours, he is worshipping Krishna by his intelligence, So we can worship Krishna by mind, body, intelligence. So by studying the Bhagavad Gita, we are worshipping Krishna by our intelligence. So this is a blessing Krishna is giving for his students. One more verse he dedicates for the students. Let us see.
श्रद्धावाननसूयश्च शृणुयादपि यो नरः सोऽपि मुक्तः शुभान् लोकान् प्राप्नुयात् पुण्यकर्मणाम्.
Translation: And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell.
So this is another blessing for the students of the Bhagavad Gita. So one who listens with faith and without envy, those people can be free from sinful reaction and attain to auspicious planets. Shubha. Krishna says Shubhan. So one can attain to auspicious planets where the pious dwell. So this is again another blessing for the students of the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna has dedicated 2 shlokas for the teacher and 2 shlokas for the students of the Bhagavad Gita. So both parties stand to only benefit. So from the purport, in the 67th verse of this chapter, the Lord explicitly forbade The Gita is being spoken to those who are envious of the Lord. In other words, Bhagavad Gita is for the devotees only. But it so happens that sometimes a devotee of the Lord will hold an open class, and in that class, not all students are expected to be devotees. Why do such persons hold open class? It is explained here that although not everyone is a devotee, still there are many men who are not envious of Krishna. So there are some people who are neutral. No, they are neither a devotee, but they are not envious also. They have faith in him as a supreme personality of Godhead. If such persons hear from a bona fide devotee about the Lord, the result is that they become at once free from all sinful reactions, and after that attain to the planetary system where all righteous persons are situated. Therefore, simply by hearing Bhagavad Gita, even a person who does not try to be a pure devotee attains the result of righteous activities. Thus, a pure devotee of the Lord gives everyone a chance to become free from all sinful reactions and to become a devotee of the Lord. Okay, now finally, is Arjuna convinced or he is not convinced? Let us see 72.
कच्चिदेतच्छ्रुतं पार्थ त्वयैकाग्रेण चेतसा कच्चिदज्ञानसम्मोहः प्रणष्टस्ते धनञ्जय.
Translation: O son of Pratha, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled?
So Krishna is asking, have you heard with an attentive mind? Are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? So Krishna is asking this question to Arjuna out of love. No, out of love. Have you understood what I have just spoken? No. Because if Arjuna would have said no, if Arjuna would have said, I have not understand, and if Arjuna had further doubts, Krishna would be willing to repeat the whole Bhagavad Gita all over again. So Krishna is out of love, out of concern for Arjuna, he is inquiring that have you heard this with an attentive mind? No. And because if Arjuna would have heard with an attentive mind, then Krishna is expecting that Arjuna's ignorance and illusion should have now been dispelled, because Arjuna had his illusions. No, he was thinking, what was Arjuna's illusion? He was thinking that if I leave the battlefield, I go to the forest and I live by begging, he will prevent incurring the sinful reactions. There will be peace in the society. He will not be responsible for the deaths of all these people. He was under this illusion. No, but what Krishna said, that anyway you will have to fight, because it's your nature as a Kshatriya. You have to fight this war, because if you don't fight the war, then there will be no peace. No, because if Duryodhana is going to be crowned king, then there will be complete chaos. So Arjuna was under an illusion. No, he was under ignorance. He had forgotten what he had learned in the Gurukula. So Krishna is expecting that anyone who has heard this knowledge with an attentive mind, his ignorance and illusion should be now dispelled. So he's asking Arjuna, did you hear with an attentive mind? Have you understood? And if you have understood, then obviously Krishna is expecting that his ignorance and illusions should now be dispelled. See, Srila Prabhupada explains, Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary book written by a poet or a fiction writer. It is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Any person, if he is fortunate enough to hear these teachings from Krishna or from his bona fide spiritual representative, is sure to become a liberated person and get out of the darkness of ignorance. So Bhagavad Gita is a life-changing book. It's a life-changing book. Once it's gone in your heart, it's there forever. You cannot take it out. It's a life-changing book. Your life is never going to be the same again. It completely changes for the better, Now let us see what Arjuna has to say to Krishna's question.
Arjuna uvacha nashto moha smritirlabdha tvatprasadat mayachyuta sthitosmi gata sandehah karishye vachanam tava.
Translation: Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt and am prepared to act according to your instructions.
So Arjuna is saying that, oh infallible one, oh Achyuta, my illusion is now gone. So now finally Arjuna is convinced. Arjuna is convinced. He says, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. So this is the mood of a devotee. A devotee always should remember that everything that is happening is because of Krishna's mercy. Is because of Krishna's mercy. So he's saying that yes, now I have regained my memory. No, so Arjuna had forgotten what he learned in the Gurukul. Arjuna already had learned all these concepts in the Gurukul. No, but he had forgotten there in the battlefield. He was so overwhelmed by compassion that he had forgotten all that. He had forgotten that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. No, so now he's saying, I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and I'm prepared to act according to your instructions. So remember, Krishna said, Yathechasi tatha kuru. It's up to you what you want to do. So Arjuna is saying, I am prepared to act according to your instructions. So Arjuna is saying, I am going to act according to your instructions. So this verse 18.73 actually marks the end of Krishna Arjuna Samvad. The conversation between Arjuna and Krishna ends here with this verse. The last 5 verses of the Bhagavad Gita are spoken by Sanjaya. So see, this is the pinnacle of surrender, 18, I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep saying 18.73 is the pinnacle of surrender, because Arjuna is saying that I am willing to act according to your instructions. So Arjuna is completely surrendering to Krishna's will. Now this samvad, this conversation between Krishna and Arjuna started in this verse, chapter number 1, verse number 21, when Arjuna said, "Oh infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight." This was the beginning of this conversation. And it ends with Arjuna saying, "My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and am prepared to act according to your instructions." So this samvad begins with Arjuna telling Krishna, you do my will. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, Arjuna told Krishna in the beginning of this conversation, take my chariot between the two armies. So this conversation started by Arjuna telling Krishna, you do my will. But it ends with Arjuna telling Krishna, I will do your will. So this is how this samvad begins and ends. Very nice thing to take a note of. Okay, now the last 5 verses are spoken by Sanjaya. Let's see what Sanjaya has to say.
Sanjaya uvacha ityaham vasudevasya पार्थस्य च महात्मनः संवादमिमम श्रौषम् अद्भुतं रोमहर्षणम्.
Translation. Sanjaya said, thus have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna, and so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end.
So Sanjaya is feeling so much ecstasy after hearing this conversation between Arjuna and Krishna, that he is feeling these ecstatic symptoms. No, he's saying that my hair is standing on end. My hair is standing on end. It's so adbhutam. He's saying adbhutam. It's so wonderful that Roma Harshanam, his hair is standing on end. Sanjaya is saying. Let's see what he says next.
व्यासप्रसादाच्छ्रुतवान् एतद्गुह्यमहं परम् योगं योगेश्वरात् कृष्णात् साक्षात् कथयतः स्वयम्.
Translation. By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard those most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna.
So see, even Sanjaya, like a good disciple, like an ideal disciple should do, he is giving the credit to his spiritual master. Everything can be done only by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So he's saying, because of the mercy of Vyasa, he says Vyasa Prasada, no, because of the Prasad means mercy. So because of the mercy of Vyasa, who is his spiritual master, Sanjay Singh, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, directly from Yogeshwara. So Krishna's one of Krishna's names is Yogeshwar, means he is the master of all mystic powers. So Sanjay is saying that directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, I have personally, Sakshat, he has directly heard this conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. See, that's why we must always, one must always acknowledge and always remember actually that whatever one does is only because of the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Srila Prabhupada taught us when we do puja, whatever we do, any ceremony we do, we must always have a picture of our spiritual master. And let's say we are offering incense or we are offering lamp or ghee lamps, even for Lord Damodar. First, we show the lamp to our Guru. So every pujari in the ISKCON temple has a small picture of their spiritual master in the corner of the altar. See where the pujari stands, there will be a small picture of the Guru of that pujari. So whatever he offers on the altar, first he will show it to the Guru. Because that by doing that, he is seeking blessings and permission from the spiritual master. So he's not offering it to the Guru, he is only showing it to the Guru, seeking for permission from the Guru, and then he goes on to offer whatever he's offering, whether it is incense or the lamp or the kerchief or the water in the conch or the fan, the peacock fan, or the whatever he offers on the altar. First he will show it to the Guru, and then only you observe when you go to the ISKCON temple and you see the pujari doing the puja, you observe this. He will always do that, and then only he will take it and offer it to their lordships on the altar. So always, no, anything, any activity that we do, first we should always have a picture of the Guru beside, and we always seek permission from the Guru, and then only we proceed to do whatever activity we do on the altar. 76.
राजस्मृत्य संस्मृत्य संवादम् इममद्भुतम् केशवार्जुनयोः पुण्यम् हृष्यामि च मुहुर्मुहुः.
Translation: O King, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment.
So see, Sanjaya continues to describe the ecstasy that he's feeling. Now he says that I'm taking pleasure, I'm thrilled at every moment as he repeatedly recalls this wonderful and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. So this is not only for Sanjaya, anyone who can read and hear this message in the mood of Sanjaya, then we can also feel so much of pleasure, so much of thrill. We don't require anything out of Krishna consciousness to keep us entertained. It is so happy, it is so joyful. Krishna consciousness is such an adventure that we don't need to go to any external parties and get-togethers and social gatherings or discotheques to get some joy or pleasure. No, Krishna conscious itself can give you so much thrill at every moment. Krishna consciousness is a great adventure. So the result of Krishna consciousness is that one becomes increasingly enlightened and he enjoys life with a thrill, not only for some time, but at every moment, such is the joy of Krishna consciousness. Only a devotee will be able to tell you this. This is what Prabhupada writes in the pulpit. 77.
तच्च संस्मृत्य संस्मृत्य रूपमत्यद्भुतं हरेः विस्मयो मे महान् राजन् हृष्यामि च पुनः पुनः.
Translation: O King, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again.
So Sanjay is continuing to say how much he's rejoicing and how wonderful it is, and he remembers the wonderful form of Lord Krishna. Remember, Krishna had shown the universal form, and Sanjay was able to see that universal form on that battlefield that Krishna showed. That universal form Krishna had never shown before. Only there on the battlefield, exclusively he showed there at that time because Arjuna requested. No, Arjuna wanted to see it. So that wonderful form Sanjaya was able to see, and now he's remembering that and he's feeling so joyful and he's rejoicing and he was struck with wonder more and more. The last verse of the chapter and of the Bhagavad Gita.
यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीविजयोर्भूतिर्ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासूपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे मोक्षसन्न्यासयोगो नाम अष्टादशोऽध्यायः।
Translation. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion.
So the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Sanjaya. Bhagavad Gita starts with Dhritarashtra Uvacha and ends with Sanjaya Uvacha. In between these two Uvachas, we have the samvad or the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna. So what is Sanjaya concluding here? He's saying wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics. So wherever there is Yogeshwar and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, Dhanurdhara, no? Sanjaya uses the word Dhanurdhara here for Arjuna. So wherever there is Krishna and wherever there is Arjuna, there will certainly be what? There will certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power and morality. So when the opening lines of Bhagavad Gita were Dhritarashtra Uvacha, Dhritarashtra was inquiring from Sanjaya, no? After the sons of Pandu and after my sons gathered at the battlefield, what did they do? So Dhritarashtra was inquiring and he was hoping that his side will emerge victorious. No, his side will emerge victorious. So Sanjaya here is actually addressing that concern of Dhritarashtra by saying that there is no way your sons will be victorious because wherever there is Krishna and wherever there is Arjuna, there will be opulence, victory, extraordinary power and morality. So here Sanjaya is telling Dhritarashtra, your sons will not win the war because they do not have Krishna and Arjuna on their side. See here the word for Arjuna is Dhanurdhara. Dhanurdhara means the carrier of the bow and arrow. Which means what? That Arjuna now is all ready. He has lifted his, see, initially Arjuna had kept aside his bow. If you remember, we did in chapter 2, where Arjuna put aside his bow. No, there is a photo of where Arjuna is feeling completely dejected and he puts his bow aside. But now Sanjaya is calling him as Dhanurdhara, which means now he has carried that bow and arrow and he is all ready to fight the wars. Therefore, he's referring to him as Dhanurdhara. So this actually represents all of us, no? All of us devotees, struggling devotees, sadhana bhaktas. We are trying to do our sadhana, and there may be times when we feel dejected. There may be times when we feel challenged. There may be times when we are facing so many challenges, and it may be very tiring for us mentally, physically. But what is Krishna saying? That if you just stick on, no, if you just hold on, if you're feeling down and out, but you take shelter of the pages of the Bhagavad Gita, then definitely you will be there will be opulence, there will be victory, there will be extraordinary power, and there will be morality. So when we feel down and out and we feel dejected, if we see this conversation, we read this conversation, then again we will be we can pep ourselves up. We can be encouraged like Arjuna to take up that bow and arrow to fight against all odds, against all hindrances, and continue in our spiritual life. So that Sanjaya says, that is my opinion. So here you can see Arjuna's illusion is now gone and he's ready to act. Now Arjuna's illusion is now gone and he's acting according to Krishna's instruction. The driver of countless universes is driving the chariot of Arjuna. So Krishna is riding the chariot of Arjuna, but Krishna is also riding the chariots of our bodies by guiding us as the super soul, by guiding us as the Paramatma as to what is the right thing to do. So you can see Arjuna is all set to fight with the bow and arrow. So that's why he's referred to as Dhanurdhara by Sanjaya in the last verse. So here you have the chapter summaries of this chapter. You can read them when I share the slides in the group. as has been throughout all these 18 chapters. And with this, we come to the end of chapter 18 and of the entire Bhagavad Gita by the mercy of Sri Guru and Sri Krishna. So I would like to add that so many years of education, yet no school, no college, no institution taught us how to love Krishna. So thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for teaching us how to love Krishna. So we are very grateful to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada broke the barriers of the language, because now hardly anyone knows Sanskrit. Those who know Sanskrit also, they cannot understand Sanskrit. But Srila Prabhupada broke the barriers of the language, the Sanskrit language, and he made available this Bhagavad Gita in over 90 languages. In over 90 languages all over the world now, Bhagavad Gita is available. And he made this easily accessible to us so that we can have access, easy access. We don't even have to pay anything. It is freely available on your vedabase.io. And so we are very grateful to Srila Prabhupada for having given us this jewel and allowing us to access this jewel so easily without any effort. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Mataji, so does that mean are we meeting next week on Saturdays?
Yes.
So the plan is next week we will have a summary of the last 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, because we've been doing that, After every 6 chapters we had a summary class. So next class we can have a summary of the last 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, and with that we will bring an end to this particular course.
And when this course ends, then on next Saturdays another course will start?
Yeah, what happens after that is we will have some classes explaining some different concepts, one-off classes, which means it's not a systematic study, it's not a continuous course. It will start and end. That subject matter will start and end in that particular class itself. So what I would like to do is probably we'll do the Damodar Leela, and then we can have a discussion on Ekadasi, why to follow Ekadasi, how to follow Ekadasi, what is the scientific angle, and all those things. So we can have classes like that till December, and then February there will be no classes, and then end of March or so, if Krishna so sanctions, we can start with Krishna book. So that is the plan for now. Now we have to see what Krishna sanctions. Okay.
But you will put all the information in the same group, right? The WhatsApp.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes, in the same group. We will continue the same group.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So I wanted to tell Beena Dadlani Mataji that I don't have your number saved. I wanted to send you to your personal WhatsApp. You had requested the recordings, but I don't have your number saved, or I don't have your number saved with this name. I have it saved with some other name. So if you can send me a message and I can save your number with your name, and then I can send you the past recordings.
Okay.
That's okay.
I think you can find in Beena Dadlani and Lavina Dadlani and the same, because that's my name.
Okay. So that's why I got confused. Right. Because I had 3 numbers from Peru.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I
same.
think they also wanted to join, but they haven't gotten to it. But
Okay.
I'm Beena Dadlani and Lavina Dadlani is the same.
Oh, okay. So I'm sending you a message now, and later I will send you the past recordings. Okay.
Yeah, I got your message also.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. Really very interesting, and looking forward for next classes every Saturday also,
Thank you.
Really, we are very grateful to you.
Thank you.
Very grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So please encourage your friends, your contacts to join our classes. As I said, the hand that gives away flowers is always fragrant. So please try and encourage more and more people to join these classes so that both parties can benefit. Both parties can benefit.
I will do the needful.
Thank you.
Krishna sanctions.
Yes, as Krishna sanctions. Thank you. Okay. Do we have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Mataji. Koti Koti Nandvar Pranam, H. Jai Pataka Maharaj ki jai, Jishina Mataji ki jai, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Thank you, Mataji. Koti Koti Nandvar Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, for your association. Anything
I
else we
al-
need to discuss?
Yeah, I also want to thank to the entire group. We had good discussion. My knowledge is increased. I'm so happy.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for being such a sincere student.
Thank you.
Govardhan Puja is coming, Mataji. Please give a 2 minute about explain about Shishi Govardhan Puja.
Yes, so Govardhan Leela, Krishna did when he was 7 years old. He lifted the Govardhan on the little finger of his left hand for 7 continuous days and nights in order to protect the residents of Vrindavan and also to crush the ego of Lord Indra. No, it's described. I was just reading another class, and His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj was explaining that how come the entire Vrindavan and how all the Vrajavasis could be under the Govardhan. So he explains that the Govardhan mountain was feeling so happy and ecstatic that the Lord has lifted him. The Lord, no. So he was expanding and expanding and expanding out of ecstasy and joy and pleasure. And that's how all the residents of Vrindavan were able to take shelter under the Govardhan at that time when there was torrential rain sent by Lord Indra. So yes, we will be covering all these pastimes in detail when we do Krishna book. It's there in great detail and very, very nectarian. So what we do for Govardhan Puja, out of sweets, mountains are made to replicate the Govardhan hill. No, so in the temples they make sira and other sweets, and they make a mountain out of that, and then that is distributed as Mahaprasad. So if you go to your local temple, you will see this happening. Otherwise, in your house also you can. If you cannot go to the temple, then you can celebrate like this in your house. You can make some sweet puja, a sweet offering for the Lord, and in the shape of the Govardhan hill, and you can offer it to the Lord for the pleasure of the Lord. Okay. Anything else we need to discuss?
Thank you, Mataji,
No.
for these sessions in the class and your time.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you
We are
for
look-
assisting with all your enthusiasm.
we are looking forward to many more interesting discussions, group chat. Yeah.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it too. Because the best way to learn is to teach. So when we teach, then we also learn, no? So yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Thank you.
Okay, but all of you have this task of encouraging your friends and contacts to join us for the future classes. Okay, so this is something that would be your payment for the course. The course is not free. The payment of this course is, as much as possible, you have to encourage your contacts to join us.
No
Okay.
payment, that is Dakshina.
Dakshina, yes, Dakshina. Okay, Dakshina. So that is your
Mataji,
Dakshina. You have to encourage as many people as possible. Do your best. Do your best. Go all out and encourage people to join the course and take advantage of this sublime knowledge given to us by Prabhupada, given to us
do
by
you teach
Krishna.
classes in Bhagavad Gita in Hindi language also?
Do I teach Bhagavad Gita in Hindi?
Yeah, the people I know, they're all Hindi people.
No, these classes are only in English.
Okay.
But for Hindi classes, there are other groups. I'm sure Vrinda Gopika Mataji has contacts for other teaching groups who are in giving classes in Hindi.
Yes, Mataji, I will share the link. That is Radhanath Maharaj Senior Brahmachari in Eco Village. There is also Siddham Vrindavan Dham in Mumbai, Vada Temple. So they are taking English and Hindi both. So I will share link in a group, Radhe. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. So yes, so if your contacts do not understand English, and they can join the Hindi groups, no problem. You
Mataji,
can encourage them to join any group.
I was asking for them to join your class in Hindi. That's what I was asking.
No,
Radha Rani ki jai ho.
but yeah, but it will take me a few more lifetimes to get there. So not in this lifetime at least.
Hindi
I don't
speaking
think
is
so.
wonderful.
What's that? I didn't get you.
I said, but your Hindi speaking is wonderful.
Yeah, but not to give a class at least, because I do all my reading in English. So to give a class, it's different. That Hindi is it's different, right? It's not so, it's not good enough for a class, at least not for now. I don't know
Yes,
in the future
Mataji,
what
we
plans I have.
understand you because, like, we can understand by Radharani Srila Prabhupada Mercy all the English lectures so nicely. But when we have to give a class, we cannot give a class in English. I can give a class in Hindi only. That is Srila Prabhupada and Srimati Shishi Radharani Mercy. Like that, you understand Hindi, but it is hard for you to give a class in Hindi, maybe.
Yes, yes, right, exactly, yes.
This
If I
Krishna
start
book
reading everything
also,
in Hindi, if I start reading in Hindi, then I can give class in Hindi. But because I do all my reading in English, then it clashes in the brain. What's that, Auntie Nita? You were saying something?
yes, Kajal, even a Krishna book also will be the similar question answers will be there. The exams.
So my plan is not to have any exams for Krishna book. I don't know what is your opinion. What does everybody else want? Do you
When
want
we
No,
exams?
Mataji,
enjoy,
no
we
exams came.
enjoy.
I was doing so good in Bhagavad Gita before the exams came. And as soon as the exam came, my Bhagavad Gita hearing and oh my God, it was a little mixed up.
Okay, so how many of you
Only
want to
thinking,
have exams for Krishna book? Raise your hands.
no, please don't.
So only one hand is raised.
No,
Anybody
no.
else?
I
You can
also
raise
want.
your hand digitally also.
I also want. Let me just find out with emoji to raise that. Because when you do the exam, what I experienced is when you do the exam, you are reading more and you get more. You know, it will memorize very well. Yeah.
Okay, so 2 votes for exams and all the others, no exams?
No exams, Mataji, please. Mercy.
No, in fact, if you get exams, you will learn more. You have to
Okay, so
read for the exams.
Because we
so
read again
I
and
learned
again.
more. I
Ah.
learned more with no exams.
It is more beneficial if you read more and more.
okay, what we'll do is we will not have any exams for Krishna book. Okay, only because it's been very tight. These 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, we've been doing only philosophy, and Krishna book is Bhagavad Gita is also very nectarian, but Bhagavad Gita is all philosophy, right? And Krishna book is Leela, and Krishna is called Leela Purushottam. So his pastimes are very sweet and transcendental, very attractive. Krishna performs all these Leelas only because he wants to attract us, attract the conditioned souls to him, so that because when we get attracted to him, we will fall in love with him and we will want to be with him. And let us just enjoy the nectar of Krishna book without any pressure of any exams. Let's do that for Krishna book, and then later we will, after we finish Krishna book, then we will see. Okay.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
let's do that. Let's just enjoy the nectar. Let's just enjoy the rasa of Krishna book. Okay, let's just enjoy the leelas. Okay, anything else? Okay, so next week, if Krishna so sanctions, we will have a summary of the last 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, and then as and when we have future classes, I will share in the group what would be the topic of discussion on that day, and the poster will always also have the Zoom link, and you can forward that to your contacts ahead, and they can join us. Okay, so that's the plan. Till then, have a nice week in Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much for joining. Vanchakalpataruvyacha kripa sindhuvyaeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.